how important is it to say to someone and mean it, are you okay?
Very important, absolutely. It sounds, so simple, and but it's sometimes the simple things we miss, and it's, I think, opening up, talking, and that's why it's having people, whether that's why it helps having close friends, close family, but also in your workplace, having people that you bond with and you trust, and you feel, happy to talk to, and open up and allow yourself to feel a little bit vulnerable, that's okay. And I think that it's people understanding that, the days of having too much pride in yourself, it's a bit of an old school mentality. I think, there's everyone goes through ups and downs, no matter how good or cool your life may seem, and maybe your problem may not seem as big as someone else's, but it's still there, and I think things can still eat away at you and build up. So I think just having a release and having, at least somebody to talk to is really helpful.
As guys in particular, I think we're probably the worst offenders for this, don't you?
Absolutely.
But it's also super important now, I think, in this growing age of consciousness, even around top level sport, to just let people in. Do you think, though, that with F1, there is room for this consciousness to grow a little bit and for people to really take this conversation seriously at this top end where you're operating?
Yeah, I think not only in F1, I think everywhere really, because it's still it's still a fairly new topic, or at least, that's been openly talked about. And it's, I guess mental health seems like a more easy phrase, but in the past it's been, whether it's labeled as depression or there's a few other words, but it's like, yeah, it's foreign, and it's when something's new and you're kind of opening a new book to people, they're like, I maybe life was easier when this book was closed, but no, I think just the more people that start to talk about it, and again, people, whether it's in sports or, I think if someone looks up to someone, and then they start to talk about something that they thought, oh, wow, how are they able to go through this? I didn't think that was the case. Then it obviously, opens up everyone else to be, okay, well, if they're talking about it, then this must be fine. And it helps encourage that conversation. So, and as you touched on, with males, I think in particular, it's, we're too macho for that. It's like, I can't talk about how I feel or if I'm a bit emotional or a bit down. So it's just, again, it's the way we were kind of brought up until now. But I think it's not as daunting or overwhelming as it seems or sounds. It can be, as you touched on, very simple to just say, hey, how you doing? Are you okay?
When I saw you, I was like, there's a lot on this guy's mind. Is it something that you've consciously, you think, taken on board throughout your life to just air your feelings? Or did you at that time reach out for advice on what maybe you should be saying to people like me who was sitting there with my microphone ready to talk to you?
You always, whether it's friends or people you work with, you're always going to get some advice. I think that's natural, but I don't know, I probably struggle not to be honest. Like I feel I'm a very honest person, and I struggle to, there's always little white lies, but never, I can't blatantly really lie in someone's face, or like, I don't know, I'm probably just the way I am. I think I'm probably too nice, therefore I'm honest, And I remember actually, so Spa, I think it was 2018, after the race, I think my race didn't last very long from memory. I think I had damage on the first lap, and it was not a good day of racing for me. And but I remember I did a couple interviews and I was like a bit down and obviously complaining about how bad my Sunday was. But then I got to a point where I'd done a few, and then I was like, all right, the next interview I'm just going to keep repeating the same stuff. I was like, I'm going to sound like someone who's just miserable and spoiled, and I don't know. So I kind of snapped out of it, and I just said, look, yes, it was a pretty bad day for me in my workplace, but it's in the scheme of things, I've still been able to compete today in Formula One. Like I'm living my dream. So a bad day is still not really a bad day. I'm sure there's a lot more terrible things going on in the world for me to be complaining about this. So I think perspective as well, that was, you know, something I don't think anyone really taught me. I think I just always had it, you know, and I always feel like I'm a glass half full. That's the thing? Yeah. That's just the way I go about it. And that's the reality. Like I am very lucky, you know, I also grew up in a beautiful country, you know, so I think everything in life has been pretty cool, you know, for me up until now. So yes, you have your days, but I try not to be too, negative about anything, because really life's pretty good.
But also, when you're somebody who's on the other side, it's also really important to make yourself visible and ready to listen to somebody else. During lockdown, I hope you don't mind me opening personally as well here, but someone in my family really was suffering with a depressive state. And I think it was because of this situation. And it taught me how to be there for someone. Mm-hmm. Can I ask you to reflect on your own experience of whether, you know, you were aware in a situation you had to be there for somebody else, and what those triggers were?
So I've learned to become a good listener to some friends, and it's actually a problem of mine is I love talking. Like, so listening was not really always natural for me, because I always wanted to be the one talking or the center of attention. So, but actually getting someone to talk and feel that they can put all their trust in you is a really nice feeling. And, you know, it encourages you to listen. And I think like a human instinct is it feels good giving or being able to help in some way, shape or form. So I think by doing that, by listening and knowing that this friend has been able to share their feelings and they feel better because of it, it gives you that feel-good feeling, the feel-good factor inside you. So I did. I also helped out a friend. I don't want to say helped out. I guess I helped out, but I don't see it as help. You know, again, if you're listening or trying to do something, it doesn't seem that courageous. But I did have a family friend back home who suffered quite a bit, and then she started up her mental health foundation is the better word. So I learned a little bit about it through there as well. It was all very new for me at the time, so this was going back, I guess, three years ago. And it was one of those ones for me as well. I was like, oh, what am I getting into? Like, I don't know if this is my place, but I think just kind of being there and trying to show some support and, again, to listen, it goes a long way. So did you get that, like, feel-good factor just from knowing that they could release some of their emotions on you?